I'm having so much fun, so let's continue with this. I'm recording all of these videos in a row, so if you did post some questions, rest assured I will get to them later. But I want to continue with the sense of surrender, there not being a problem, all of that, really. And I don't even know what I'm going to speak about. This is just, there's that stream. I'm channeling this message for you. And something is learning here too, so something is integrating, and I'm deeply appreciative for this opportunity to speak to you. Whoever is listening, thank you for giving me a reason to record these videos, and equally much I hope that they're helpful to you. So we talked about finally there not being any other option, and even if there are, it's still possible that we notice that we finally, something comes to a halt. And as we are proverbially pushed against the wall, we can't push back anymore because either it's just not working, we're exhausted, the circumstances kind of are too difficult for us. That's rather the rough path, right, of arriving at this. Or the other path might, it might look different. There's no one path. It also might be that your life is actually beautiful, perfect. There's so many options. And yet still something notices, right? Something notices that ever subtle friction, sort of like driving with the handbrake on. And for some, it's like really on. And for somebody, it might just be, like just one click on, that sort of thing. If you have an actual, if you imagine an old school actual handbrake, and you kind of you feel something's off, but you can't put your finger off it because it's so slight. And yet that like, hey, this doesn't drive how it usually drives, right? Like that's awesome too. You see the contrast and how these paths can unfold. That's beautiful. That makes for that whole magnitude, that variety in the stories of our lives. Either way, you've noticed there's a different way and you surrender. You simply give up. You say, I'm not going to manage this. I surrender to being the river, to allowing the river to take me wherever the river thinks best, because I surrender the belief that I know best, that I actually even know where I want to go. It's like that story of the Chinese farmer. I'll make it very quick. Who lost his horse, right? And people in the village say, "Oh, that's such bad luck." And he says, "Well, let's see." And then, a week later, the horse comes back with another horse. It brings another horse back. Now he has two horses. And people say, "Wow, that's such great luck." And he says, "Well, let's see." And then his son tries to ride the new wild horse and he falls off, breaks his leg. And people say, "Wow, that's such bad luck." He says, "We'll see." And then next week, there's an army coming through his village recruiting people for the war. And his son is not recruited because he has a broken leg. And people say, "Wow, that's such good luck." You see the point, right? So it's like just giving up. I feel it somatically. It's like, wow, it's such a release. It's such a relief that I don't have to know. Guys, we don't have to know what is the right way. Can you vibe with that? Can you allow that to just ripple through your body? Even if, and I appreciate that there might be parts that are totally not trusting of this. After all, I'm just some guy online talking about this, and it might not even be making sense. So I invite you to just as an experiment for the next minute, for the next 60 seconds, just close your eyes and imagine that you didn't have to manage your life, that there was something greater, whatever that appears as to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. You can use the word God, life, Dharma, river of life, life force, loving presence, ancestors, Master Yoda. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what word you use. Just feel that greater presence that is holding you. Maybe it's your higher self. Maybe it's Jesus. Maybe it's Buddha. It really doesn't matter. Just feel that presence. Imagine, if you can't find the presence, just imagine, literally the way you would imagine if I tell you to imagine Donald Duck and you get a visual, right? Just like imagine a loving presence that is holding you, and imagine a world in which you could take your hands off the steering wheel and your dream bus would drive itself to a destination that is better than your wildest dreams. You didn't even know you wanted it, and it's going to take you there all by itself, and you get to kick back and relax. Ooh, what is that like? So if you want to stay here, pause the video. I'll continue just to not leave too long pauses in the video. And again, we don't want to set it up as a spiritual ideal, right? That now we have created a different kind of place, a different kind of experience that we just experienced in that meditation. If you had a glimpse that that's something to abide from, and that sets up this course again, right? That okay, I'm here. I wanna live from that place where Milo just took me. Let's be there more. Because right now I think I'm losing it. I think I just lost it because now fear is here. And hunger and a sense of general dysphoria is here actually. Ugh. Now I kind of lost the, I don't want to watch this anymore. Fine. You see, this is what makes this so anti-fragile, is that you're surrendered to even discerning of what's better in terms of that upliftment. That if you touch something beautiful there, you're not clinging to it because you release the idea that that's where you should be. What if the path is for you to touch it and then lose it, touch it and then lose it? Can you live in that not knowing of what actually the best, shortest, most efficient path for you is? You see how it becomes an idea that if I learn to abide there more fully, if I can hit like a full week of living from that place, that would be awesome, right? But what do you know? Maybe the quickest path anywhere, again, um, we're entertaining that illusion that there's somewhere to get to. What if it's actually to get it, lose it, get it, lose it? What if it's to get it and then lose it for 10 years before finding it again, right? You see, like we just don't know. And again, like notice how I'm setting up this polarity again, that there is actually somewhere to get to. But there isn't. This whole tension of not being there yet is precisely what keeps you from it, right? So it's like, imagine that you're this infinite creator. You're literally omnipotent, right? Like you're God. You're just experimenting with creation. And right now, God is knowing himself through Milo, and Milo is lost and feeling afraid, uncertain, lots of fear, lots of longing, lots of desire. And so I just imagine that there's a different place where I can be. And my word is law. Because as long as I imagine that there's a different place that is better, then automatically I am judging this place I am in now as not good. So I am literally creating a path out of nothingness for myself to go on, to reach a place, and only that place will be good enough, right? By definition, I'm literally creating that as my reality. Where I am is not quite good enough. And notice the difference in then suddenly collapsing that into saying, I am already in the most perfect place. And that becomes law. That becomes my reality. Just because I am God and I have willed it into existence. And notice how the only thing that says, okay, so where is it? Where's my $1,000,000? Where's my trophy wife? Where is my, invitation for the Oprah show? Where is my face on Forbes magazine? Whatever your wish may be, right? Like, why is that not here? Because that's a thought, right? That's a thought of the small self that thinks that happiness will come from those things. And what if your wish has been granted? You are living in the most perfect moment there can be. And you just don't have the eyes to see it because the perfection comes from a radical acceptance of everything. That is to reclaim your throne and to touch the peace that passeth all understanding, because it is anti-fragile. You cannot be dethroned. With any other sense of belief, there's always that possibility that you'll lose it. But if you embrace all as kingdom of heaven, you cannot ever not be in heaven. Even on your worst day, you can paint the most grotesque image, whatever worst nightmare scenario. And if you can know that as kingdom of heaven, as a love in disguise, as you still being at home, then you have nothing to fear. You have nowhere to escape from and nowhere to escape to, because everything becomes that. Everything becomes your home. You're eternally at rest. And something begins to relax this habitual tendency to move away from the present moment. And something begins to settle and relax. And amidst that settling, but here's the catch, right? It's not because we need that for our fulfillment anymore. We are already loving, we're actually loving the absence of peace. We're loving the absence of love. We're loving the disconnection. We're already home. And then paradoxically, right? And that stings, oh boy. If you want it, then it stings, because the paradox says you can only have it when you no longer want it. Oh boy. Because in that moment, when you stop flailing like a drowning man in water, when you stop pushing, when you stop muddying the water, the mud settles. As you stop resisting the afflictive emotions, they liberate. They stay, they become felt, and they liberate, they shift. That's the impermanence. Nothing is forever. It's not going to stay. And that impermanence aspect again points to where our salvation actually lies. It's not in attaching into that which can be eroded by rust, that which can be washed away by a wave when we build on sand, right? Biblical quotes, because they're true. It's not about being Christian or not. Can we hear the truth in that? Build your house where the rust will not corrupt, where nobody can enter your house and steal, where you are no longer afraid of no thief, of no rust, of no wave. Because even if rust appears, a theft takes place, your house is washed away, then you are abiding in a much deeper abode, which is not conditional on any of it. It just gets to be a play of light that is intimately felt, because this is not a bypass. We're not trying to say, oh, well, um, my dear ones passed away and I lost my career and my dog is old, and like whatever adds on top of that, right? Whatever you feel would touch you personally, would make you sad, and you're like, well, but Milo said it's a play of light, so I actually I don't feel any of that. All is good. That's the mind trying to make this into something that it is not. This is actually about being deeply intimate with the arising. We feel the loss even when we know that the house that got washed away because we built it on sand, or all of the accumulated wealth. Let's say you literally get robbed, right? You lose your life savings by making a bad bet on the in the securities market, whatever. You lose your house, you lose your family because of health, because of divorce, whatever. Like we're talking real life tragedy, and you feel that. But you're not saying, you're not entertaining the thought that it shouldn't be, because you don't know what should or shouldn't be. You don't know if this is the worst day of your life, or in a sense, if this is the biggest gift that has ever been bestowed upon you. And it's not about waiting to see how it turns out, right? Because that sets up another, it's still not here. Okay, Milo says, let's not judge whether this is good or bad. Let's see if it becomes good or bad. Well, that's just delayed. That's just delayed judgment. delayed discernment, right? We want to find that place of dropping into the okayness with whatever is arising now, whatever will arise tomorrow, whatever arose yesterday. But those two kind of fall away because as we relax into not managing, then we automatically feel like, wow, that's a lot of effort to entertain the fictive imagination of a future and also equally much the past. Like it just drops away. We just stop bothering. It's just easier that way. And again, it's not a bypass. It's not like, wow, that hurts, but I will never look at it again. No, we stop pushing or pulling. So if there is something in the past that still hurts today, it gets to be. We get to have a sad day when we feel that grief. And then when we no longer want that grief to go away, then something shifts. And as the mud, even that word has a negative connotation, right? But as all of that, all of the beauty and the kind of difficult emotions as all that gets to settle, then what begins to shine through is like the clouds in the sky. As they part, we see the beautiful blue sky of our being. Because the nature of our being, which is completely unconditioned, just our nature, is peace, is joy, is satisfaction, is love. And we're just led to believe by our parents, teachers, our society, by the way that life currently looks like on this planet, that, oh, we're getting that by means of getting a good job, by getting material goods, by getting relationships and friendships and whatever else it might be, a good meal, right? But they're all symbols. They're all symbols out there in the external world that just evoke the feelings that we hold inside. And that can only be known at some moment, that we are chasing mirages. We're chasing that which we think will bring us home while imagining that we're not home already. And that is what creates this whole tension.